Okay, class. For this recorded video lecture, I will be discussing about the principles and ethics of communication. First, let us discuss kung ano nga ba yung principles of communication. So, if I will be asking you, ayan, sa tingin ninyo, bakit ba importante yung matutunan itong mga principles of communication or in Tagalog ang prinsipyo ng pakikipag-usap. Yan. Siyempre, as future professionals, you will be dealing a lot of people. And siyempre, as professionals nga, meron kayong mga ethical standards na kailangang i-observe when talking to different types of people. So itong principles of communication will answer that question, how to actually communicate with other people professionally. So hindi lang siya sa field din nyo magagamit as a future educators, but in dealing in most of the people that of course we encounter now, i-encounter every day, lalong-lalo na you bilang future professionals. Okay? So, the first principle of communication is knowing your audience. Ayan. Siyempre, ito yung kauna-unahang principle na dapat lagi niyong tatandaan. Hindi ba katulad nung binanggit ko sa inyo last time? In any communication material which you will be preparing, the first step is actually knowing your audience. Ito yung pinaka-basic. Ito yung step one. Kasi knowing your audience would help you design your message, craft your message in a way na nakasuit doon sa profile ng inyong mga audiences. Okay, so halimbawa, for example, kayo ay inimbitahan bilang maging isang lecturer sa isang event. Siyempre, ang una mo dapat tanungin doon ay sino ba yung mga participants or mga audiences? Kasi siyempre, um, pag nalaman mo na yon, i-design mo na kung maiisip mo na kung paano mo ilalatag yung mga topics mo, how are you going to present the information. Kung halimbawa, for example, you were asked to lecture in front of a group of farmers. Of course, di ba kasi syempre pagka farmers ang kausap mo, hindi ka dapat gagamit ng mga technical jargons ay yung mga terms na mahirap intindihin. At syempre, in terms of the language that you will be using, hindi ka dapat gagamit ng English language. Although, hindi naman kasi lahat ng mga farmers ay, ang tawag dito ay hindi nakakaintindihan ng English. But of course, pwede din naman yun kaso, pwede mong gawin din yun kaso, of course, aantukin sila pagka ginamit mong lengguwahe to present the lecture is in English. So, dapat para mas maging engaging, mas effective, ang delivery ng lecture mo is that use the language which is familiar to them, kung ano yung ginagamit nila araw-araw. Kasi syempre, di ba, pag hindi mo tinanong yan, pag hindi mo pinaghandaan kung sino yung audience mo, ayan, magiging failure kasi yung, of course, yung event na yon. So, nag-prepare ka nga, di ba? Tapos, yung pala, hindi rin naman nila naintindihan yung nile-lecture mo kasi you prepared the presentation in English and you practice your presentation in English. Hmm. Tapos, halimbawa, you did not ask kung sino yung farmers mo, ay yung audience mo. Then later mo na lang nalaman na farmers pala, yun na paghandaan mong example are not fitted for farmers. Siyempre, pag magbibigay ka ng example, dapat yung familiar sila and highly relatable to them. So, ganun yun. So, that's the importance of knowing your audience. Knowing your audience will help you actually succeed yung, of course, or attain the objective of the activity. And the other one, of course, is knowing your purpose. Siyempre, aalamin mo bakit ka ba nila in-invite dun sa event na yon. Halimbawa, for example, you presented certain technology, ayan, about farming. So yun. O dahil halimbawa yung mga estudyante ko sa BPED o hindi dahil BPED major kayo, ituturo niyo doon ay yung mga traditional dances. You should know your purpose why you are there. So you are there to discuss a topic which will be beneficial in their field, which is about a certain technology about farming. Okay? So, sabi nga dyan, you need to know what it is you're trying to do before you can do it. So, kaya mo bang i-lecture yun? Ayan. Kung hindi kasi, you can actually reply that I'm not the best person to do that job and you can just refer it. So, yun hindi yung basta tatanong mo ka na lang. So, ano ba kasi, ba't mo ba ako in-invite? Ano ba ang gagawin ko doon? Siyempre, first and foremost, and more importantly, you should know your topic. Ano ba yung i-discuss ko? Ano ba kasi yung dapat nilang malaman? So, you should ask that. Kasi baka mamaya, hindi kayo nagkaintindihan ng nag-invite sa'yo. You should actually ask about the details of the topic and assess yourself if you can deliver that topic and if you can actually help the organizer attain their activity. Kasi ito yung pinaka-core knowing your topic. That's the reason why you were invited because of they believe that you know the topic. And then if not, then you can be honest enough to actually recruit someone or identify someone who is much more knowledgeable than you. So yun. Kasi sabi dyan, if you don't know sufficient detail about your topic and rely on the audience having even less knowledge, you aren't being effective. Okay, so yun. Dapat kasi being a resource person, ang expectation kasi dyan, you are an expert of the subject matter. Ibig sabihin, kung ang treatment kasi sa'yo dyan, pagka tinanggap mo yung engagement na yan as resource person, kahit nakapikit ka, you can discuss that topic at kahit ano yung itanong sa iyo about that topic is masasagot mo. So, ganun kasi yun. Hindi porket you have a slight knowledge about it, it's okay na. No. Okay? Then dito naman, anticipate objections and be prepared to accept them. So, class dito, kasi in the future, I believe you will be engaged in activities like this, presenting a topic. And in our experience kasi, meron talaga kaming mga audiences na talagang mas magagaling sa amin. Like for example, sa isang training na hinandle namin, wherein we actually have a lawyer participant. So, pag ganun cases na sa tingin niyo mas tama naman sila, so of course, you have to accept them, okay? And be humble enough that what you know is actually not sufficient. It's actually a matter of handling the situation. And pagka ganung instances, anticipate objections. Paghandaan mo na. Yan yung maaring itanong sa'yo. Kaya nga dapat, babalik tayo dun sa number 3 eh. Ayan, para maiwasan yung 4. Kailangan alam na alam mo talaga yung topic mo. You are the expert of that subject matter. Kaya if ever there will be objections, ayan, or difficult questions about the topic which you will be discussing, so kayang-kaya mo siyang sagutin, kayang-kaya mo siyang i-handle. Okay? So yun, kasi lalong-lalo na kayo, magtuturo kayo, di ba? May mga estudyante rin talaga na magagaling, matatalino. Yan. So, you should know how to handle that. And the key is, kailangan pag dineliver mo yung isang topic, talagang alam na alam mo yun. Okay? And of course, the next one is follow through on what you say. So dito papasok yung sinasabi natin na coherence, and it has something to do with the organization of your idea. Okay, lalong-lalo na pag ikaw ay nag-lecture. Okay? So dapat yung mga binabanggit mo na explanation is nakatuon lang dun sa topic na dinidiscuss mo. Huwag kang pupunta sa ibang topic na hindi naman related dun sa dinidiscuss mo kasi mangyayari dyan, syempre, malilito yung mga participants mo or yung audience. It will actually create confusion. Well, maganda din na nagbibigay ka ng mga examples, but make sure na yung example na yun ay still coherent dun sa topic na dinidiscuss mo. So sabi nga dyan, go into detail. i-explain mong mabuti. Pero, wag na wag kang magbabanggit ng isang bagay na hindi naman related dun sa dinidiscuss mo to avoid confusion. You should follow through on what you say. So, okay lang din naman yun na halimbawa meron kang mababanggit na medyo outside of the discussion but make sure to recenter your discussion on the main topic which you are discussing para hindi sila mawawala. Okay? Kasi ang mangyayari nun, naiintindihan na nila eh. Nagbanggit ka ng isang example na medyo nalihis na imbis na maintindihan nila, mas lalo pa silang na-confuse. So, yun. Kasi syempre, pag resource person ka, lahat ng sasabihin nila sa'yo ay paniniwalaan nila. Except nga lang talaga dun sa mga matatanong, magagaling na mahilig magtanong. So, yun. Yung nangungwestiyon ng kaalaman mo. Okay? Or yung mga talagang basta curious lang. Yan sa mga sinasabi mo. Ayan. Meron din iba yung nag-challenge din. Ayan, so kaya talagang importante that you really follow through what you say. Kung nalilihis ka man ng discussion, balik ka lang ulit doon sa main topic na dinidiscuss mo. Okay? So, kung medyo nabibilisan kayo sa transition ng discussion ko, since ito naman ay isang recorded video lecture, so ang pwede nyo lang gawin is i-post nyo muna siya, then breathe, then i-continue na lang for the next topic, yung susunod na i-discuss ko. So, ganun na lang. So, the next one is communicate a little at a time. So, mas maganda dito na nagpo-post ka from time to time. Halimbawa, pagka nag-explain ka, huwag yung dire-diretso. Kasi pagka dire-diretso na yan, parang nakaka-information overload, hindi ba? So, dapat mag-pause ka, huminga ka, at bigyan mo din ng time yung audiences mo na huminga o kaya i-process yung sinabi mo. Huwag yung dire-diretso na para kang nagra-rap. Ayan. Kung ikaw naman ay kinakabahan, kasi pag kinakabahan ka, di ba, may tendency na bibilis yung salita mo. So, ang gawin mo muna, huminto ka at huminga ka ng malalim. Practice deep breathing. Ayan. So, para mawala yung kaba mo at maging normal yung pamamaraan ng pananalita mo. So, yun. Communicate at a little at a time. So, chop-chopin mo yung mga sinasabi mo. Kumbaga parang cut it into small bits of information, then communicate it, and give time for the audience to process what you were explaining. Okay? So, sabi kasi dyan, giving lots of information can completely lose an audience if they can take it at all. Diba? Yan. Pag marami na kasing naririnig, tapos dire-diretso, walang pauses, di ba ang tendency nun na hindi na-absorb ng utak natin. Kaya breaking it down can actually help. Okay, so like for this, like the topic which I have been discussing, principles of communication, I actually slice it into 9 principles. Okay, then the next one is to present information in several ways. So actually, this presentation, I only use a single type of presentation kung saan puro text lang yung nakikita nyo, di ba? But mas, sabi nga dito sa slide, mas maganda siguro if you will be using images, ayan, to present your topic. Okay? O bukod doon sa, of course, sa pagsasalita mo. But, be careful on sa paggamit din ng mga images kasi sometimes it will help your audience understand much better your topic kung naka-align siya sa dinidiscuss. Kaya you really have to choose ng mabuti yung gagamitin nyo na images. Basta use images that will support your discussion. Wag yung basta maglalagay ka lang dahil magsasalpa ka na lang dyan dahil gusto mong merong picture dyan sa slide mo. It should support your discussion. The picture that you will be placing in your slide should support your discussion or what's reflected in the slide. So, ganun siya. So, pwede ka rin mag-insert dyan ng mga videos which would actually help your audience understand yung topic na dinidiscuss mo. Okay? So, actually, yung mga resource person namin, isa nilang strategy yun para daw makapagpahinga sila sa pagsasalita. Okay? But it's acceptable kasi nga it's one of the principles of communication. You may use other means to communicate your topic or presentation. And now we are down to the last two slides, last two bullets, I mean. So, sabi dito, develop a practical useful way to get feedback. So, lalong-lalo na if you are a new speaker, mas maganda din kasi na kuhanan mo ng feedback yung mga audiences mo para alam mo kung paano mo i-improve yung sarili mo. So kami bilang resource persons, lecturers, or teachers, we actually gather feedbacks coming from our audiences, lalong-lalo na ako bilang teacher. And specifically nung ako ay nagsisimula pa, binabasa ko talaga yung mga comments or evaluation ng mga estudyante ko with regards to how I deliver my topic. At yun yung ginagawa kong basis to improve. So, ang isang comment na talagang tumatak sa isip ko, maraming section na nagsabi yun. Kaya nga gumagamit na ako ng lapel is that mahina yung boses ko. So, yun. Kasi syempre kahit na okay naman yung how you explain, but hindi naman nila marinig, hindi ba? Ayan, wala ding sense yung dinidiscuss mo. So, yun. That's one way of actually getting feedback. Ayan, yung mga evaluations na pinapamigay sa after the training. So, yung mga ganon. So, sa lahat naman kasi ng activities, may mga evaluation yan. So, if you are, if you'd like to know what rooms to be, ano pa yung mga rooms for improvement sa'yo bilang isang speaker, then you can get the result of the evaluation and tingnan mo yung mga comments and suggestions ng mga audiences doon. So, kahit na masakit siya, at least 'di ba, eye-opener siya na, okay, so may mannerism ako. Yun pala dapat yung ano ko, i-improve or mabilis akong magsalita. Okay? So, yun. O kaya halimbawa, may isang friend ka na sa audience, tanungin mo siya, kamusta ba? Kamusta ba yung presentation ko? Naintindihan niyo ba? Mabilis ba akong magsalita? O naintindihan niyo ba yung mga examples na binigay ko, etc. So, yun. Kasi doon ka mag improve doon sa mga feedbacks na yon. Yung feedback kasi they are not meant to ridicule you or saktan ka. Feedbacks are constructive criticisms which would help you improve your skill, especially in uh, cases like this when you're presenting a lecture. Okay? So the last number is number 9. So the last principle is use multiple communication techniques. So parang katulad din yun isang item na explain ko na kanina. So communication techniques actually deals with the hand gestures, ayan, and other means or ways to present your lecture. So kasi 'di ba pagka nagle-lecture ka, ang pangit naman kasi na parang nakatayo ka lang dun sa harapan and very stiff na nagdi-discuss ng topic. So, kung ganun yung nagsasalita sa harapan niyo, 'di ba, para kasing nakakaantok and boring. So, may mga estudyante pa nga na ano pinagtatawanan yung mga prof nila, 'di ba, na ginagaya-gaya yung hand gestures. But actually, kung masyado kang invested doon sa dinidiscuss mo, ayan, talagang yung hand gestures, it actually, comes naturally. So, hindi mo namamalayan na talagang nakakagamit ka ng hand gestures without even knowing at parang hindi ka conscious na talagang nakakapag-hand gestures ako. Nakakapag-hand gestures pala ako, nakakagamit ako ng hand gestures. Kasi nga parang nadadala ka ng damdamin mo dahil masyado kang invested doon sa topic na dinidiscuss mo. Yan. So, I guess siguro dahil meron kayong ganyang klaseng activity, magdi-deliver ng speech, yan yung isa sa mga titignan ko sa inyo ha, if you are using hand gestures. So, kasi nakakatulong yun yung mga hand gestures na yan to emphasize, diba, the words na babanggitin nyo in your speeches. And of course, tignan nyo din yung tone ninyo. Ayan, the way you talk. And you could also, as I had mentioned earlier, you may use videos nga din to actually as one of the communication techniques to help your audience understand more the topic which you are discussing. Okay, so this ends the topic for the principles of communication. The second topic or second lesson which I will be discussing is the 7 C's of communication. Okay?